Nobody.
Did you hear something?
Doors of Oblivion. Let me just take those away now.
Who's there?
Oh, you guys got that right. I'm just gonna go ahead and explore this room real quick. I'll catch up when I feel like it, okay? There's nothing in that, I don't know why I opened it. Bread, very important. What the hell are you guys up to? Oh.
I'll teach you.
Ah, there it is. I was not trying to... I keep picking up the wrong thing. Need to go that way. Oh, someone had a frost atronach. Neat. I yield, they say, before trying to run me back into a trap. Did the rest of my party fall for it? Oh, heck yes, they did. Yoink. That needs the key. Nothing fun in there. Honey nut treat. A knapsack. Nope. Fire heart. Nothing? Okay. Hey, Farkas. Get the fark out of my way. What's in the sack? Salt. Potato, another sack with cabbages. Nothing fun in there. I like that one too. Doors barred from the other side. Anything in here? One grand soul gem. Ooh, ingots. A book on troll slaying. And a book on lost legends. Ooh, that starts a quest. Hey. No, I want to... want that. Thank you. A workbench. Just a fire. Recover the stones of barren. Well, that's stone number 2. I have that flagged? Oh, I want that flagged now. Okay, so I'm just supposed to kind of like stumble upon the stones of Baranzaya. Reasonable. Roll of paper, potion of magicka, thank you. Alchemy lab, don't care. Assuming I have to go there? Oh, barred from the other side, right. Meal. A sack with salt pile, an empty large sack. Wardrobe with nothing important in it. Okay. I have a feeling that on the other side of this wall is going to be something interesting. Okay, I should back up before I do this. I don't want that spell casting to trigger anything.
Who's there?
Okay. I mean, not as much as I was expecting to be over here, but still right that something was here. Junkety junk junk. Wait. There. Anyone want to loot? Is this the right way? Yes. Okay. Juniper berries, so we can make some gin then? Junk in there. Hello, random door to... Oh, Gordon. Baked potatoes, very important. Interesting. Not that I actually care, because I make my own arrows, but we don't care about Farquaad. He's too short. Oh, that's not mine. Okay. No, this is not the door that was locked, but something interesting happened in here. Apples. A sweet roll. Bread. That's not the button I meant to hit. Oh, it is the button I meant to hit. I just corrected something. Oh. Okay. More bread? That was the that was not the bread. Where have I been? Where am I trying to get to? Oops. That'll do. Some grilled chicken bust on the floor. No worries. Where's this door go? Where am I? It's back down at the... What's up here? There's an arrow. That's probably important. That's not concerning at all. I'm not worried. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Nothing to worry about here. Game auto-saving is completely normal and fine. It absolutely happens in the middle of a dungeon at random all the time. Open up!
So you're the one who barged into my home and laid waste to my projects?
Yep.
How nice to meet you.
I'm here for the books.
So you're just one of Arin's lackeys. That's disappointing. You show real promise. You come here, kill my assistants, disrupt my work. You've annoyed me, so I don't think I'll be giving you anything.
I'm not going anywhere without the books.
Are you attempting to threaten me after I've been so hospitable? Well, then you won't be leaving here at all.
Where are you? Where are you? Get some fire resistance. Okay. Thanks for the rituals. The book. The frost salts. So I would have preferred fire salts, but you know, what are you gonna do? Lost King of the Aelids. Knight of Tears. Sarthal holds a prominent place in Skyrim history, even if most don't remember it by name. It is of course the site of one of the first major Nord settlements, one of the first cities of men in Skyrim, and the earliest known capital of their civilization. It's also the site of terrible bloodshed, when the elves attempted to drive the Nords out of Skyrim, to succeed only in incurring their wrath in the tomb of Ysgramor, and his fabled 500 companions, who swept the elves from Skyrim and firmly established it as the home of the Nords. All this is known, but little else. What happened that night of tears when Sarthal was razed to the ground? What provokes the elves to such deliberate, vicious attack? What prompted such a severe response from the Nords? Bengalma's treatise on the Ultima Antecedent suggests that the elves of the Merithic era, along with their counterparts the early Dwemer, possessed a degree of sophistication unparalleled in Tamriel. They displayed power beyond what could be expected at the time. While a distinct explanation is not given for this, I believe that this work, compared with the early writings of Hesef Carinus, suggests that something greater was at work on that night in Sarthal. The true motives beyond the Night of Tears, and obscured to us by the passage of time. I believe this was not a simple war of territory, or of control of Skyrim. I believe that what happened was a significant event based around something very particular. The Nords found something when they built their city, buried deep in the ground. They attempted to keep it buried, but the elves learned of it and coveted it for themselves. Thus they assaulted Sarthal, their goal not to drive the Nords out, but to secure this power for themselves. I believe Ysgramor knew something of what the elves would find under Sarthal, and rallied together his people to keep the elves from gaining it. When Nords once again controlled Skyrim, his power was buried deep below the earth and sealed away. Time has kept his knowledge from us. It is my hope that time will also reveal the truth of these words. Every effort will be made to relocate Sarthal and find that which has been lost to us. Okay, those are the 3 books. Were their names? So we did the Night of Tears, the other 2 are Fragment on Artaeum. The Isle of Artaeum is the 3rd largest island of the Somerset Archipelago, located south of the Moradinun village of Patansa and west of the mainland village of Runcibai. It is best known for being home to the Psijic Order, perhaps the oldest monastic group in Tamriel. The earliest written record of Psijics is from the 20th year of the First Era, and tells the tale of the renowned Breton sage and author Vernet, traveling to the Isle of Artaeum to meet with Archesis, the right master of the Psijics. Even then, the Psijics were the counselors of kings and proponents of the Elder Way, taught to them by the original race that inhabited Tamriel. The Elder Way is a philosophy of meditation and study said to bind the forces of nature to the individual will. It differs from magic in origin, but the effects are much the same. That said, it is perhaps more than coincidence that the Isle of Artaeum literally vanished from the shores of Somerset at the beginning of the Second Era, at about the time of the founding of the Mages Guild in Tamriel. Various historians and scholars have published theories about this. Perhaps none but Archesis and his own could shed light on the matter. 500 years passed, and Artaeum returned. The Psijics of the Isle consisted of persons, mostly elves, who had disappeared and were presumed dead in the Second Era. They could not, or would not, offer any explanation for Artaea's whereabouts during that time, or the fate of Archesis and the original Council of Artaeum. Currently, the Psijics are led by the Loremaster Kalaris, who has presided over the Council of Artaeum for the last 250 years. The Council's influence in Tamrielic politics is tidal. The kings of Somerset, particularly those of Moradinun, often sought the Psijics' opinion. Emperor Urli V was much influenced by the Council in the early, most glorious parts of his reign, before his disastrous attack on Akavir. It has even been suggested that the fleet of King Orgrim Macedonia was destroyed by a joint effort of Emperor Antiochus and the Seljuk Order. The last four emperors, Uriel VI, Morihatha, Pelagius IV, and Uriel VII, had been suspicious of the Seljuks enough to refuse ambassadors for the Isle of Artaeum within the imperial city. The Isle of Artaeum is difficult to chart geographically. It is said that it shifts continuously either at random or by decree of the council. Visitors to the island are so rare as to be almost unheard of. Anyone desirous of a meeting with the Seljuk may find contacts in Patansa and Ernsubai, as well as many of the kingdoms of Somerset. Were it more accessible, Artaeum would be a favored destination for travelers. I've been to the isle once and still dream of its idyllic orchards and clear pastures, its still and silent lagoons, its misty woodlands, and the unique Seljuk architecture that seems to be as natural as its surroundings, as well as wondrous in its own right. Sippara Tower, in particular, I would study, for it is a relic from a civilization that predates the High Elves by several hundred years, and is still used in certain rites by the Seljuks. Perhaps one day I might return. Note: the author is currently on the Isle of Artaeum by gracious consent of Master Sargenius of the Council of Artaeum. Okay, that's the last page for that one, and the last one is Last King. Aylids. Aylids, or Heartland High Elves, ruled Cyrodiil in the long ages of myth before the beginning of recorded history. One of the earliest recorded dates, in fact, is the fall of white gold in IE 243, which is commonly assumed to mark the end of the Aylids. This degree of lore dump in the form of, like, in-game books is not common. A lot of the issue with it is a lot of people just skip over this, so then, like, you have all this lore that the game devs have taken the time to write and no one reads. It's really frustrating as a game dev. So there's a lot more, like, building the lore into the story and, like, things you're forced to do. I skip most of the books, but these are 3 books that are dropped in the course that, like, you have to recover as part of a quest line. Seemed like what's in them is probably rather important. So Aylid rule over all of Cyrodiil was indeed broken in IE 243. This is only one of the most obvious stages near the end of a long decline. The first 2 centuries of the First Era saw increasing strife between the great Aylid lords of Cyrodiil. Aylid lords of Alicia appears to have taken advantage of a period of civil war to launch her uprising. Imperial historians have traditionally attributed her victory to intervention from Skyrim. It appears that she had at least as much help from rebel Aylid lords during the siege of White Gold Tower. The popular image of the Aylids as brutal slave masters is based in fact, of course, but it is less well known that a number of Aylid princes continued to rule parts of Cyrodiil after 243, as vassals of the new Empress of Cyrodiil. This suggests either that Aylid rule was not universally detested, or that Alicia and her successors were more pragmatic than is traditionally believed, or perhaps some of both. In any event, excavations at a number of Aylid sites show continued occupation and even expansion during the so-called Late Aylid period, 1E 243 to C 498. First, many Aylid lords continued to rule as vassals of the new human regime. In some cases, Aylid supporters of Alicia were even rewarded with new lands taken from slain enemies. It is not clear to what extent human slavery continued under the Cyrodiilic Empire. Humans continued to dwell in the Aylid-ruled areas of Cyrodiil, but there is nothing definitive to show under what terms. This was an uneasy relationship from the beginning. It was not destined to last long. Resentment at the continued presence of Aelid nobles within the Empire was a contributing factor to the rise of so-called Elysian order founded by Maruk. First victims of the Elysians were the Aelids of Cyrodiil. In the early 300s, the surviving Aelid communities in human-ruled areas were obliterated one by one, the refugees temporarily swelling the power of the remaining Aelid lordships. Then, in 361, the Elysians gained control of the Empire and enforced the Elysian doctrines throughout its domain. The Aelid lordships were abolished. Enforcement of this decree does not appear to have required much direct violence. It seems about this point the balance of power is so overwhelming against them, and their fate so long foreshadowed, that most of the remaining Aelid simply left Cyrodiil, eventually being absorbed into the elven populations of Valenwood and High Rock. Indeed, the rise of the Durrani hegemony may be linked to this exodus of Aelids from Cyrodiil, an action so far little studied by historians. Still, a remnant Aelid population seems to have survived the rule of the Elysians, because we hear of the last king of the Aelids joining the Battle of Glenumbria Moors, where the Durranis decisively defeated the Elysians in 482. How this king's people survived the preceding century is unknown. We do not even know who they were, although recent research points to Netalata as the possible resting place of this last king. Unfortunately, in the current state of the Empire, funds are no longer available for proper scientific research of such extensive ruins, so the answer to these questions will have to be left to future generations. Feel like the book about the Psijics is probably the one she was after? So I guess my answer to the question is, genre-wise, there's still a lot of lore dumps that are done in RPGs. This specific method of lore dumping is far less common, though. Just a moment, now that I'm done looking up the books, I gotta... something... there. Oh, and there's our ad break. Hello. Now I search for the door. You won't miss anything, I'm just looking for the way out. Hello. That was... Did I not go in here? Oh. Hi.
Who's there?
Not even allowed to wake up. Apparently never went in here before. Okay. Here's the way out. For those guys. There's our exit.